Here, we explore moments of self-reflection in everyday life. We greet each other, but follow the form. In many Western cultures, greetings are simple and direct. A quick hi, a handshake, or even just eye contact can be enough. The goal is to acknowledge presence, not to define the relationship. In Korea, greetings often carry more layers. A slight bow, a change in tone, or even the words themselves may shift, depending on who you are speaking to. This did not emerge randomly. In a society shaped by hierarchy, age, and social roles, greetings became a way to position oneself within the relationship. It was not just about saying hello, but about recognizing order before interaction begins. Over time, this structure turned greetings into a form of awareness. You read the situation, adjust your expression, and respond accordingly. To some, this may feel respectful and refined. To others, it may seem rigid or performative. The form may stay the same, but meaning quietly shifts. Same words, different intention. And perhaps the deeper question is this: when I greet someone, am I expressing who I am, or simply following what is expected of me?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper.
We check our phones but still feel alone. We rarely notice the moment something begins to shape us. It does not arrive with a clear signal or decision. Instead, it quietly enters through repetition. A glance, scroll, a notification answered without thinking. Over time, these small actions begin to organize our attention, and what we repeatedly attend to starts to influence how we think. Not by force, but by constant presence. The influence often feels neutral. It blends into daily life, almost invisible. First, attention becomes direction. What we return to repeatedly begins to guide what we notice, slowly shaping what we consider important. Second, reaction becomes habit. How we respond to each alert trains our pace of thinking and conditions what feels normal to us. And third, repetition reshapes identity. What we engage with most consistently begins to define how we see ourselves, often without reflection or intention. So now, what if you asked yourself, what is my attention being trained to follow each day? And if this pattern continues, who am I gradually becoming?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper.
We act first, but don't think. Responsibility is rarely as clearly defined as we assume. In daily life, it often extends beyond what we expect. Hannah Arendt once observed, "The sad truth is that most evil is done by people who never make up their minds to be good or evil." Her words suggest responsibility is not only about action, but also about remaining passive. And sometimes, what we do not do shapes outcomes as much as what we do. Perhaps responsibility has become narrower than it should be. First, we reduce it to direct roles. If something is not assigned to us, we assume it is not ours. Second, we separate action from consequence. If we did not cause the problem, we feel little obligation to respond. And third, we draw invisible boundaries. We decide where our concern ends, even when impact continues beyond that line. Over time, responsibility becomes something we limit rather than examine. So now, what if you asked yourself, where does my responsibility truly end? If the outcome still affects others? And when I choose not to act, what am I quietly allowing to continue?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper.
We scroll freely, but inside a system. We often assume that what we see each day is simply there, but much of it is selected, arranged, and repeated without our awareness. News, posts, recommendations, these do not appear by chance. They are filtered through systems designed to hold our attention. Over time, what we see begins to feel natural. And what feels natural becomes something we rarely question. Without noticing, our view of the world starts to narrow quietly. Perhaps what we see is more shaped than we realize. First, selection becomes reality. What appears repeatedly begins to define what we think exists. Second, repetition creates familiarity. What we see often starts to feel true, even without reflection. And third, absence becomes invisible. What is not shown slowly disappears from our awareness. Over time, we do not just receive information. We begin to live inside a version of the world that has been arranged for us. So now, what if you asked yourself, how much of what I see each day is actually chosen for me? And what might I be missing that never appears at all?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper.
We spend time but don't notice. We often think of character as something personal and self-directed. We often believe we know how we spend our time. But most days pass without careful attention. Hours move through small, repeated actions. Checking, scrolling, waiting, reacting. None of them seem significant on their own. Yet together, they shape how our day unfolds. What we return to again and again quietly fills our time. And over time, how we spend our days begins to define how we live. Perhaps our time is less intentional than we think. First, small actions accumulate. Moments that feel minor begin to take up more space than expected. Second, attention drifts without direction. We move from one task to another, without deciding what truly matters or why. And third, reflection rarely happens. We seldom pause to see where our time has gone, or what it is shaping in us. Over time, our days become something we pass through, rather than something we shape with intention. So now, what if you asked yourself, what do I actually spend most of my day doing? And if this pattern continues, what kind of life am I building?
What would you honestly say? Let's keep going a little deeper. See you in the next video.